Hello everyone, I have another Traveler's Notebook spread for you today using my 2022 book journal. So I have gone through my stash and I chose a couple of papers. So I keep all my Traveler's Notebook sized papers and all of my pocket cards all in a little container, and I just went through all those cards and I pulled out some that I thought would work with my book covers, and then I also pulled out some stamps from my stash, and that's what we're going to be using today. So both of these two papers that I'm going to use for my backgrounds are from Journals of Life, and then this kind of gingham paper that I'm using is a Principal Traveler's Notebook paper from Tracy Reed. And then all of the pocket cards are from Paper Person. Some of them were from older, like Kelly Perky kits before she was Paper Person, and some of them were printables from the Paper Person shop, and I'm just going to play with them. I based my decisions on colors very easily. Easy way to do it, easy way to put a spread together, and a little bit on theme. The paper that I'm going to use on the left side of my layout has these little books on it, and then the right side is this really kind of cool notebook looking pattern paper. My goal for this spread was to use up pocket cards. So you saw me fussy cut that book stack from the one pocket card, and I'm going to kind of use that and bounce some of the colors that are in that stack all around the layout. I'm looking through my stamps right now, choosing which ones I want to use and pulling those ones off of the stamp pad and then kind of placing them where I think they might fit on my spread. Some of the stamps that I'm using today are the same stamps I use for every one of my book journal pages. One of the ways that I keep this project easy and completely doable for me and quick is by using the same little book review stamp and keeping the star review. For the book on the left, I know that I really want to go ahead and write a little bit about that book. I have some things to say about it. But the book on the left, I really don't have much to say about it. Both of these books were okay. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm just going to flip through both of all my stamps here and kind of decide which ones I want to use. Once I decided on my stamps, I'm going to go ahead and pull my MISTI out. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of place these elements down, but also decide where I'm going to stamp stuff. I'm just going to stamp on black ink on this side. My reason for doing this is because so far I have added no black to the left side of my spread. But the right side of my spread has a lot of black in the pattern. So this is just going to be my star rating for this side of the spread, and then I'm going to use one of those pocket cards and stamp my book review onto it. Again, trying to use up some of the pocket cards out of my stash. I don't do Project Life. I do some pocket scrapbooking now and then, but it is not something I do a lot of, so I end up with more cards than I'm ever going to use. Probably because I keep buying them because I love the designs of them, but it's not how I scrapbook. So I'm going to make them work for me. And I'm going to stamp the book review. Okay, let's talk about the books on my spread while I continue to just get all of my stamping done. The book on the left is called Remember Me. It's by Mario Escobar. Now, if you like coming of age books or books about kids, this book is really good. The only thing I liked about it was that I learned some things about history that I didn't know before. I'm not a fan of coming of age books. It's just not my cup of tea. But I enjoyed the historical elements of it. The book I'm working on now is called 100 Summers, and it is by an author called Beatrice Williams. She writes tons of books, and this is maybe the second one I've read of hers, and I really enjoy them. So I can't say she's like a favorite author or anything because I've only read 2 of her books, but I did really like this one, and I liked the first one that I read as well. So again, now I'm working on the left side of the page, and I am going to go ahead and again do the same thing I did before, do all my stamping, but for this side of the spread, I am using colors of ink because I have all that color in that Fussy Cut book stack, and so I wanted to make sure that while this is not a double page spread, I want the 2 sides of my book to coordinate. I don't want them to clash. I don't want them to look strange side by side. So what I'm doing is kind of just making sure that the colors for both sides of the spread are similar, close to the same, complementary, where when you open the page, nothing looks out of place, nothing looks odd. So I pulled in some different colors to do my stamping on the right side. I'm not going to do my journaling on camera, but you can see the journaling in the close-ups at the end of the book, or at the end of the video. And I am on Goodreads. My handle is Sarah Scraps, which is, my handle everywhere. It is what I go by on the interwebs. So again, I'm going to go ahead, stamp my book review, but I already have a stamp that I've stamped that says book review. So when I actually go ahead to trim this out, I'm going to cut that top piece of the book review off. I'm using 2 colors of stamps. This is Glitz and Polished. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the top part of the books in the Glitz and then the bottom part of the books in the Polished. Now, this stamp set has the fillers. I have the fillers that go in here. I don't know why I didn't realize that I had the fillers while I was stamping this, but I had the fillers. So later on, I'm going to go ahead and kind of color this book stack in, and it was completely unnecessary because I could have just stamped it, which would have given me a much better look to my spread. But fortunately for me and all of you, I am not aiming for perfection here. I really just want to document the books I read, what I thought of them. And that's it. That's all I want to know. So it's so good that I kind of messed up the stamping here. What do I use these books for? Okay, so there are a couple of reasons I use these books. First of all, lots of people know that I read. And people often ask me for book recommendations, like my family and not people online, not people online, but my family. So I like to have these books to look back on and know what kind of book I might recommend, or what books were about. The other thing is because lots of books that I read, they often come into movies, and I, generally speaking, if I didn't like the book, I'm not going to like the movie. Generally speaking, even if I loved the book, I'm probably going to like the book more than the movie, but that's okay. I have found over the years that if you read the book first before you see the movie, you tend to like the movie a little bit more, maybe? I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but I definitely think that those are 2 definite reasons why. And also because sometimes I forget what a book's about. Like, I never completely forget any book that I read. Like, I've never read a second book and been a book twice and not have remembered it. But life is too short to read books more than once, really. So having this kind of documented area for my books is a good idea. So I grabbed my Mildliners. I'm going to color in this book stack. Didn't need to color it in, but I did. And and I don't even know why I used my Zebra Mildliners. I guess I was just curious as to how they work. I use the broad tip in my functional planning, and I guess I always wondered how that works. You know, how they would be coloring in. Turns out they're not great, but that's okay. I have this beautiful new stamp set. This stamp set is from Sarah Bargo. She does a stamp subscription. It's called Happy Little Stamp. You get a new stamp set every month, and it's super cute. I just signed up for this subscription, and that's where I got those little starbursts from. So now I noticed there's like this gappy place or gappy area under my book review on the right side. And so I really want to go ahead and kind of fill that in. So I grabbed 2 of the books. And again, the idea being I have all of the colors on both sides of the page. Just the colors are in different amounts. So I'm doing my stamping in black, whereas on the other side I did my stamping in the colors. Again, just to make sure that everything kind of coordinates. And that one stamp that I stamped said, "Life is Short, buy the book," because I actually I did actually buy that book. So now I can get into my book journal for 2022, and I'm going to go ahead and just put these pages right into my book journal. And that is where we're going to call this spread done, and these books are documented. You can see my rating in the close-ups. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this book review or this book journal spread. I know so many people watched the one that I put up like 2 weeks ago that I was like I was doing a little happy dance. So if you do like these videos, please be sure to hit that thumbs up or leave a comment. Talk to you soon. Bye.